We'll begin our search for ceruleum in Regio Urbanissima. First location is Forum Solus, a park northwest of the station. Remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. So, this is the park. I'm surprised I found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses are built around them. At least society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Zos Vigalvus. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked magic tech armor? No, we're ready to dry, some goes to the rest of the Machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. While I don't expect to find anything else here, I decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then with your permission, we will commence the search. Got it. A small Bulgarian is a stricter remnants in the merchant stall. It was built with children to play at the shopkeeper. It's nothing left that resembling magic tech on the other side, fueled by ceruleum. Points of interest are marked on the map of the Forum Soleus. The pond, children's play area. To your knowledge, however, no one will require to use ceruleum. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters has long since been drained of ceruleum, as Julia said. It's here. The contraption was built in the style of the Imperial War Machina, armed with battery weapons capable of transforming into different configurations. On closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a Trojan slide. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help but noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. They'd be stopping wide when all was said and done, every time. And every time, when we get home, Mother would get scolded at us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a ceruleum-powered heater by chance. I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing the engineers changing out a tank beneath the hatch. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing. I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth is there. Probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. Our witch is unbearably cold, though. Julius? What are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlemald would jump out of their skin if they saw it. The first has a few form signifier and mech disease, so it doesn't scare me. And I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now. Half not. As you have a knack for refining dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of verify should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's not like so involved as extracting unprocessed ruling from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're taking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane! So, fancy a dip? Jose loves her competitions. Last one to find our cereal tank is a rotten egg. Though I think cereal will both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. Essence of Re. It needs water. Your finger catch one, you might think it'd be a handle. I got a tank. It's also really cold. Personal cause. Okay, aware. It's really cold and really stinky. Julie was definitely feeling compelled to pinch his nose shut over delivering him the prize. Did you find anything? I hope you did. That's it. And there's still some cerulean left. Fire's still not ready. Hold on, give Elvin a hand. Call me a Ludon because by fire I am reborn. My clothes are mostly dry now too. I hear you recovering cerulean, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Because of the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still invoiced, deserving of protection. If you were to die in my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. Not far from here. My father was the accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire was awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we found warmth and comfort at home. Come in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot bath with family, visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make a triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings, we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead. And those memories? But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon, our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little bit longer. Right, now that you've recovered from your cities and the pollen, there's another location I like to search, just outside the park. As you can see, this place is littered with remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I already recovered the tanks from the less damaged unit, those that took more severe beating are hard to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prise them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tank without rupturing them. So, the force generated by these devices is relatively weak. I would advise you to stand well clear to avoid getting hit by shrapnel. But before even bothering though, you should check the Machina's room gauge to see if any is left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. So, half full or half empty. I'm surely pleased with your discovery. Alright, my man just wanted one tank, so I got one tank for you. Half a tank. Half full tank. Wait, is that what I think it is? 2 half tanks make a full tank? Damn it, truly luck is on your side. We'll be refuel quite a few of our haters. Sometimes we'll head back way here while I go see how Alize and Elvino are faring. Oh, oops. Waiting.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we? Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
Sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Get them out of here.
We find they do not resist. No good deed goes unpunished. Lia lecta est. Accompany me back to the camp where I'll meet with your leader and President Lord Quintus demands. Before we depart, there's something I would ask of you. Assuming your condition implies the supplies to surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionnaire Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot magic armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the ill for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. Okay, let's see these two individuals, shall we? You again. That's the ill, he said? So, that's the weight of it, after all of this. Ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. do you want with me? It's the ill. So Lord Quintus has reached the decision. I knew he would understand. He would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I'm ready. In the name of Emperor Barris, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Have you done as instructed? It would involve more than transportation, wouldn't it? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been giving additional orders, though whether we were required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. Just one other matter. A place like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here, follow me.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was, until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use.
Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
So cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varus at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections, a cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alice.
The scouts have secured Alize and Alfino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
Say the word.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
They're dying in the blaze of glory.
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop, both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I've ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience.
This plan is not going to go
They
through.
explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity.
That's what he was looking for.
I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I. Memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Garlemald. Dream is dead. Much more has occurred since we met. As determining what comes next, we must speak to Lord Quintus. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. They're preparing for war while the refugees in the cave were left to go hungry? A reckless, short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people they were sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we're going to compel them to accept our aid. Were they to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we will only incite panic, but perhaps they'd be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Julius, back to the station, and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being, I'll take what I can get. Up now, Alize and the scouts sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I'll also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. It was only ever a dream, wasn't it? Do you think we would claim it, rebuild it all ourselves? But this all began, I sent my wife and daughter away to the provinces. If there's a chance I might see them again, I'll take it. So take me. Take me with you, please. Well, got the authorized sorted in the end. What took was a few adjustments, and now it works as well as it ever did. What I can tell, the wind in the Electrum is also functioning as normal. It's where you are staying, isn't it? I'm also packing up and leaving this place, so there will be more use for me and my skills over at the camp. Oh, it's you, the one who treated me with such kindness. Apart from the others, you're not from around here. I thought you were one of us, but that makes much difference now. Pure bloods, migrants, savages. After a while, the wars start to lose meaning. Until all you're left with is anger and fear and hate, and I'm too tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, oh God, I'll accept. We much discuss a rescue, the attack on Camp Organ class. But we'd hope to talk with Emperor Legatus Quintus. But all of that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are there any refugees willing to come to the camp? You and I should go first and skirt the route back to Camp Organ class. With all the creatures tempering skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Concourse chain, courtesy of our lumens and friends. I'll save our tempered though. I'll mark a few points that needed surveying on a map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet back at our camp. Here you are. I've run a few beasts went down much for a fight. The temper proved somewhat troublesome, but these changes should keep them under control and their allies take them into custody. Well, let's take a roll off. I'll gather a few supplies and return to the station. Well, I see to that. Would you mind appraising the state of our progress? As it happens, I have some rather pertinent information for our recent scouting forays. I'll save it for later, first things first and all that. Listen, I was informed of Quentin's suicide. Must have come as a shocking shock to his men. The refugees. Until someone receptive to our proposal, but I would hear your account firsthand. Listen, we did not hesitate to accept. It proves how desperate this situation has become. We'll do our best to make them feel welcome. Troops who participate in the ambush are no exception. They afford the same treatment as the other refugees, graffiti notwithstanding. After all, even if I wanted to make an example of them, there's no one left to learn from it. We'll tell our allies that these soldiers were acting under the direct order of the legatus, and that following his suicide they offer a full and unconditional surrender. Perhaps Quintus thought that had he lived, he would be tried as a war criminal, and his men punished with him. Perhaps by taking his own life, he hoped to absolve them without any culpability. Or perhaps, like too many others, he was a true believer to the end. Couldn't say. I didn't know the man, or his heart, whose reasons, noble and otherwise, died with him, and if all still has to clean up the mess. I assume you're curious about what happens. The matters have progressed here in your absence quite well, as it happens. I will procure the cerulean for Tapistan. The recently repaired heaters can provide much needed warmth. Furthermore, we prepared sufficient food for everyone. Those from Tertium should find a hot meal waiting for next meal. There's one for you, so go ahead and get some well-earned rest. I believe that we're capable of wielding a ladle to without your assistance. Anyone, might I ask, seek out Ishtola? She was but recently attended to the wounded, but she meant to be taking a rest herself. See, that she is. What's up? Yes, I've been taking breaks and imbibing sufficient water, but what of the warrior of light? You know, the twins have established history of reckless disregard for your own well-being. We're all fortunate none of you allowing yourself in my care. I've already quite enough to deal with between the tempered and the first wounded. Alas, though I commend their bodies, the total of their experience have taken their hearts and minds and all much together. For their sakes, we mustn't waver, but nor must we rush ahead in eagerness to see day one, and in doing so invite disaster. Several cutscenes will play in sequence. Yes.
Is that all of them?
The last of those who agreed to join us, yes.
We left heaters and provisions for those who wish to stay behind. They won't last forever, but hopefully they'll last long enough.
For now, I think everyone's earned a rest. We'll see to those in need of medical attention, so take the others with you and get yourselves some hot soup.
Warmth. At last.
Marvelous, isn't it? All thanks to the resourceful machinists of Ishgard, I might add. On their behalf, I bid you warm yourself to your heart's content.
Hold on. Your people might have scribbled a few things on a piece of parchment, but it was our Minson Smiths that put the bloody things together.
Well, be that as it may, we single-handedly got the interior heating up and running again, didn't we?
The hells you did! We were there every step of the way.
We? You barely raised a finger to help, you ale-sodden reprobate.
I did a damn sight more than you lily-livered bilge rat.
Take that back!
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
Two man babies going at it.
Here. At ease, man. There's nothing funny in it. I'm from Alamigo, but was a conscript until recently. Used to eat this with the officers.
Apparently, it's adapted from a steppe recipe. This is my first time trying it, and I have to say, it's not half bad.
Mmm. It's a bit too flavorful for my liking.
Perhaps compared to what you're used to.
It's the little things that make life worth living, don't you think?
I know this is not a dream, and yet... I felt the same way at the Dragon Song War's end. Every morning I would step outside and need to be reminded that it wasn't my imagination, that my world had been forever changed. And just as I had grown accustomed to the idea, again you change my world in ways I never thought possible. Were it not for you and your fellow scions, the rift between man and dragon and myriad tribes might never have been bridged. The Grand Company of Eorzea, the Ilsabard contingent. We owe it all to you. We've shed many tears in recent days, of pain and sorrow, triumph and joy. I much prefer the latter. I'm honored to fight by your side. As an Eorzean and Garlean both, I shall do all in my power to bring my peoples together.
It is a remarkable achievement. Everything that I and the Populares had hoped for, and more.
Would that it had come sooner.
Indeed. Indeed. Too many are not here to see it. And yet, there is a warmth in my breast, as if they still share in this moment.
Yes, I know what you mean. On a night like tonight, the wind and cold seem to pass me by.
On behalf of the Garlemald Empire, thank you for inviting me today.
What? Emperor Varus?
They are being tempered. The talismans. Quickly!
Save me, brave hero! My lord has requested your presence, and I would hate to disappoint him.
Interesting little changes. With Masari's voice to Fandaniel's voice.
The experiment was a success, but I fear our time is short. I shall begin the preparations.
Now, it is time for you to awaken. Good morrow to you. Here, have a taste before it gets cold. Oh, but be sure to remove your helmet. Take a moment, too, to familiarize yourself with that borrowed flesh.
This poor guy just keeps getting brought back again.
So, how does it feel? I, for one, find those first moments within a new body to be most refreshing. We had a Magitech engineer by the name of Aulus to thank for this method of soul extraction and implantation. I believe the two of you met briefly in Alamigo. His was a rather sticky end, wasn't it? Thankfully, he was thoughtful enough to leave behind his mind-jack technology. I took the liberty of making some improvements and selecting you as my esteemed test subject.
Well, what a pain.
Come now. To us Asians, it is no different from trying on new clothes. Why not make the most of it by partaking in this fine cuisine? I must say, I have gone to great lengths to reunite you with my lord. When I discovered that his friend was in this neck of the woods, I suggested inviting you over for dinner. He never deigned to respond, but I took his silence as a resounding yes. Oh my! Daddy is pleased his grumpy little boy has finally found his playmate. Ah, exposition is in order. The Garlean Empire has long outlawed all forms of religion. No gods to worship, no risk of summoning. Brilliantly simple. But people being people must turn to something or someone in their hour of need. Who then? Why, His Radiance the Emperor, of course. As you have observed firsthand, Garlemald has seen better days. The legendary Solus Galvus, dead. Provinces near and far in open rebellion. Our bold new emperor assassinated. And that last one even sparked a civil war. What rotten luck. The people cried out for salvation. Their earnest pleas, one might even call them prayers, a supplication united for the Empire to reclaim her former glory. And so their will did manifest, channeled through the corpse of none other than Emperor Varus himself. And lo, the Savior was born, the embodiment of the Garlean spirit, their anima.
My anima.
It calls to its subjects, compelling them to take up arms and fight. And just as the wealth and power gravitate towards the Empire's capital, so too does ether from every corner of the globe. The towers with which you and your allies have been so preoccupied were created as an extension of anima itself. An ingenious design. Would you not agree, my lord?
Does the pursuit of prey you have bested before excite you? Of course not. Absent the challenge, the thrill, your prize is a hollow victory. Butchery. Perhaps you think that to be the extent of my promise. I have no doubt fallen in your estimation since Alamigo. Fair enough. But do not let your disdain deprive us, of an opportunity to craft an even more majestic moment of euphoria. I have been honing my craft as I set the stage for our reunion. Wheresoever there is suffering and despair, you appear to fulfill your duty as defender of this star. The chaos and destruction that my hordes have wrought are my gifts to you alone. At a loss for words? No matter. As you will learn, I have only just begun.
Oh, will you not finish your meal?
There is only one thing that can sate my hunger, and it would seem my friend has lost his appetite. I hoped this display of civility might prove an entertaining diversion, but clearly we are above such pretensions. While my lifeless body was in the possession of the Cassian, I too claimed another's as my own. It was an enlightening experience to fight in an unfamiliar form. Flaws and failings in my technique were plain to see. Whence rises one's true strength? The flesh? The soul? Perhaps you should like to discover the answer for yourself. Or together.
Oh dear! Whatever would happen if my lord were to greet your friends as you? I shudder to imagine what carnage he would wreak. We'd better hurry if we want to avert the bloodbath. You can thank me later for my generosity. Ah, there it is. Your camp, I believe. If I were to hazard a guess, I would say that you, the other you, is making his way there as we speak. Alas, this you will have to walk from here. Or run, if you can manage it. My lord would be cross if I made it too easy. Such ingratitude. I'd not squander this fighting chance. After all, you've obstacles enough to overcome. Right on cue. Tempered soldiers, with standing orders to kill those not sworn to anima. Under normal circumstances, you would make short work of them. But on this occasion, the odds are not so heavily stacked in your favor.
Oh. Boys? Well, let's get that. You're gonna lose consciousness. That was right now. No problem? Alright. It's a little, yeah, it's a little ham-fisted in the end because it's so forced. They force you a bunch of doing annoying things. I guess you could hate Ben Daniel or Xenos for making you do this. But still, it's not a fun section. You know, granted, the goal might not be for fun, but still, it's a rather frustrating moment for the player. Not in a good way. It's just, yeah. Still wish the opening was a lot more clear on what it actually wants you to do.
It is a miracle we were able to restrain the Tempered without suffering casualties.
A welcome one. Arun, Senna, and the others have their hands full as it is. Thankfully, there are enough scales for everyone.
And what of Euless? His symptoms were particularly severe.
They were, but others fared still worse, including some brought back from the Magna Glacius. As those in most desperate need take priority, it may be a while before he receives treatment. But rest assured that he will. In the meantime, we must find our missing friend. May the Fury guide you.
Of all the bloody times for a disappearing act.
Right when the first wave struck, we'd be fools to think it a coincidence. But where even to begin the search? No one saw him leave in the chaos, and we've no trail to follow.
While I know full well he can handle himself, I worry all the same.
Ah, speak of the devil.
Well, time to call off the search.
It's funny when we play Lalafell.
Case closed.
Xeno just becomes the evil little man instead.
That's him. Over there.
Oh, you know better.
Aye, 'twould appear so. Thou art struggling to perceive his presence?
I am. Perhaps, in the aftermath of the wave, there is some residual effect interfering with my faculties. But...
Where have you been? We've been worried sick.
No. All's well that ends well. Are you all right?
I think also in a way, I wish
Are
they...
you all right?
I wish they did something with this, rather than just, yeah, have him have a snarky smile and then have nothing happen.
Who are you?
Sadly, that is all we have time for today. The effect has run its course, and back to your own bodies you must go. But where are my manners? You have all traveled so very far, and I've yet to pay my respects. Though in my defense, I was ill-prepared to receive so many uninvited guests. As such, preliminary entertainments were in order. A handful of tempered soldiers to hamper your progress. Refugees to command your attention while I siphon the ceruleum from the shadows. Particularly effective. Charitable souls that you are, you bent over backwards to aid them, heedless of the delay, predictable to a fault. And so my plan approaches completion unhindered. Anima will soon have absorbed the requisite amount of ether, and then shall come the spectacle to end all spectacles. The eldest and most powerful of primals will awaken, and all shall bear witness to the final days!
The gods themselves will be my meal. Your dear companions my dessert. Upon this world I'll feast, and death shall follow in my wake. All your hate, all your rage, you will render unto me.
For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, weal enmeshed with woe. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence. Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation.
Thank goodness. He's awake.
What a weird dream I had. Not there yet.
I am pleased to report you are very much alive.
Everything in working order? That's a relief. Oh, and before I forget, thanks for coming to our rescue.
Given recent events, I would be surprised if you weren't feeling a bit poorly. A hearty meal and a long rest would be my recommendation under normal circumstances, but these are anything but. If Van Daniel's boasts are to be believed, we must act quickly. Once you've blown away the cobwebs, we can discuss preparations for our assault on the Tower of Babel.
Considering you're well, nothing out of place, no missing bits, wit, and I will promise the same for Pat down the Zetos. I'm through with them. How many of these people suffer before they're satisfied? How many cruel, pointless tricks must they play? Prove the final phase, or no, this ends now. Hey, why not make a report? This anima was summoned with the corpse of Empress Varus. Does their depravity know no bounds? Seems not. More to the point, we can surmise that the wave of ether issued not from the power Babel, but from a primal lurking within it. Primal whose cry rang rather more loudly in your ears than yours. We were taken to the tower itself, and this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is the beating heart of the Lafroy machinations. In which case, we're some highly relevant information. As many of you know, ever since we dispatched troops to free the Leviors, I've been developing a plan to infiltrate the tower. Our new Thancred and scouts the main structures lousy, with tempered and enemy magitech. Furthermore, the road leading to us collapsed, making it difficult to approach in numbers. Thus do we propose dividing our forces into two parties, one to distract and one to infiltrate. The divisionary forces will be comprised of the Ishgardian, Grudanian, Lominson delegation. We will begin the construction of the bridges to make the Falaforoid believe we are marching upon the tower. Meanwhile, the rest, suited of our Alamegan Udon and Eastern Carmines, would use a different method of ingress. Look here. The faculty marked in red is the Englodium, a vast magic tech manufactory in the ruins of Bell. But the Frightguard connecting to otherwise slight Imperial Palace remains intact. But the level of attention is elsewhere. Information can use it into the tower undetected. Beware, however, the underground rail network remains very much operational. The Tempered are using it to bring supplies to the towers even now. If it can carry their material, it can carry us too, providing we sneak aboard unseen. The Scions will lead the infiltration party. Once inside, you must locate and dispatch from Daniel and the Xenos. Yep, we'll save the old girl and the south part of the world. Aye, you and so many others have lost much to this Roy. We shall ensure they lose no more. How quickly can we enact this plan? Daniel made it quite clear there's haste as a priority. Well, paramount concern, even assuming he didn't name the Tower Babel on the whim. Nemon's time and Mendgate with the gods, and then they used it to refer to a void gate, but in this case, most certainly will lose something altogether greater. The eldest and most powerful primals. The more reason to act now. The rest of the condition is aware of the plan, now ready to move at a moment's notice. You proceed north to the foreign patents. At least this group will greet you there. As ever, we are grateful for your foresight. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Spare no effort in your preparations. Listen, the way into the tunnel is clear. We'll make sure of it. We're getting there before freeze, especially you. Oh, shoot! We'll be on the other foot once we're in. Believe you me, a good fight we should warn us